Further, gender roles is also a crucial social construct that has altered elections over time, significantly in the recent elections. First, an overlooked detail when comparing election results from 2016 to 2020 raises the question, why is Joe Biden doing so much better against Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton? There are evidently many factors like policies that play into this, but the immense change in political sides for men in America proves gender roles definitely have a key role in Biden's lead in state votes over Trump compared to Hillary's. Following the US election held on November 8, 2016, Donald Trump bested Hillary Clinton in the Electoral College by 306 to 232 electoral votes. In this map, the red states represents Republicans, while the blue shaded states show the Democrats' majority votes in 2016. This map demonstrates the 2020 votes, showing much more support for Biden. A study done by the PEW Research Center found that Joe Biden is doing about as well as Hillary Clinton among women. However, there has been a big increase among men's votes. Among black men, Biden is doing 6 points better than Hillary Clinton, and among white men, Biden is doing 10 points better than Clinton. In comparison, white women's support for Biden only shifted 3 points up, and black women's voting patterns remained the same from 2016 to 2020. For working class women, points went up by 1, while for working class men, points went up by 10. It can be hypothesized that women have always been driven away from Trump due to his crude and sexist behavior. However, these studies are focusing on the shift in men's support. Additionally, the Women's March in 2016 after Trump's inauguration shows that it is more than the men's views that have changed. Based on all these facts, we can conclude forms of gender bias definitely still exist in America, especially among men, meaning gender roles are still prevalent. Traditionally, gender roles did not involve women in any type of governing. However, America has made a positive progression in changing this in the 2020 election, which leads me to my next point. Kamala Harris has been elected as the first female vice president with the victory of the Democratic Party. This is very important for gender roles in the future, since it allows for representation of African American women in high power politics. It is additionally hypothesized that since Biden was the candidate for presidency and the face of the Democratic side for the election and Kamala would be a lower level, there was hardly any reason behind gender discrimination. Regardless, the narrative of this election has enabled someone to demolish these traditional gender roles and create a milestone for women. An important quote reflecting this is, "We can't overestimate how important it is for people to see someone who looks different in a position like that, and to have women in the highest level of government. It finally puts a rest to that question of electability." Lastly, nationalism values are very prominent in today's election. When we mention nationalism, you may automatically think of Trump's campaign, "Make America Great Again," or how Trump continues to refer to COVID-19 as the Chinese virus. One of Trump's fundamental policies is support for his own country, disregarding the interests of other nations, unless it benefits his own. A related construct is patriotism, which is only associated with pride and love for one's country. Trump's policies that emphasize focus on America's prosperity appeal to patriotic voters. The difference is that in nationalism, it focuses on hostility towards other nations, so Trump's stance on stricter immigration laws, a stronger military, and reduced globalization appealed to nationalistic voters that were not fully convinced by the patriotic views. A survey of nationalism intertwined with the results of 2016 election showed a great correlation between nationalistic views and support for the Republican Party, and strong evidence that nationalism values surpass all others when it comes to voting. On the contrary, this year, Biden used a nationalistic approach to appeal to Christian voters while endorsing his policies to seize the coronavirus. He encouraged people to wear masks by referencing an important commandment in the Bible, "Love your neighbor as yourself." We also know that despite evidence proving the elections were not rigged, we still see Trump's resistance, and this is likely as a result of two factors stemming from his instinctive nationalistic outlook. He feels, first, that he was betrayed by his own country that he loved so much since he wasn't elected, and despite this, he may have a sense of obligation to continue to oversee governing of the US because of nationalism that affects and is affected by the narrative of the US election.